G'day time, my fuzzyites. That was great. G'day time, my fuzzyites, and welcome to a quick review of Evil Dead, the video game. With all of my quick reviews, as I usually do, I go through the game, the certain plot point, talk about my overall appeal of the game, then go into more specific stuff like story, characters, and whatnot, ending with a conclusion. I talk about what I like about it, what I dislike, what I think could have been done better, what I'd like to see in the future, if there is a future, stuff like that. So, without further ado, all in all with this game, it is a very good game for an Evil Dead multiplayer experience. It feels very true to what the source material is, what it could be, and it's very nice. The whole thing is mostly just a hodgepodge of characters and places from all over the series coming together to be like a testament to everything Evil Dead is. And it's fun. I enjoy it. It is good. Like I said, for a multiplayer experience where it's 4 people versus 1, it is really well done and great. Yeah. So without further ado, let's go into the first part of it, story. So, the story, there's the multiplayer story, and then there's mission mode story, and I guess extra stories? I don't know. I haven't heard the extra stories, didn't look into it, but you'll see. But the multiplayer story is basically the Deadites are released on the world, either by Professor Nobly or whatnot. You and 3 of your friends, acquaintances, or other, come together and try and stop the Deadites by first getting 3 pieces of a map that will reveal where the dagger and the book Necronomicon are. You then have to go and collect the book and the dagger and Necronomicon, and finally go to the area to defeat the Dark Ones. And then after that is done, protect the book until it can be sealed. The Deadites gone, and either if the heroes win, the Deadites are forever banished from the realm. You've won. Humanity is saved. Yay! If you lose, the demons rule the earth, everything is lost, boo. Or yay if you're a demon. All in all, for the multiplayer story, like I said, it's very compelling for a multiplayer experience. You get the gist of what you have to do, it makes sense for what you have to do, and you go and do it. Very fun, very nice. And then also from that, you have the mission mode story, which is, they're all different missions. Some of them, like the first one, if you love someone, let them go with a chainsaw, is roughly based on Evil Dead 2, where your mission is, or after Linda has been buried, you have to go out, get her locket, go and get a shovel, get her head, get her in the workshop, and chop her head, I guess. And that's it. But of course, shenanigans ensues. You have Deadites on you and whatnot, going and whatnot. Other stories, other missions are just stuff that makes sense to the overarching plot, but doesn't really have a base on what actually happened in any of the movies and games. Like, in one of them, Lord Arthur comes from the past into the Evil Dead time, and he must find his way home, defeating Evil Ash in the process, and getting home. The stories in mission mode are very much just enough to get you to go, okay, yeah, this is what I have to do. It makes sense for characters, for what they do, and overall, mostly fun, mostly fine, and whatnot. The extras, I believe, they just give insight into the Necronomicon, what the professor was doing, and whatnot. Maybe more. Like I said, I unfortunately wasn't able to watch any of that. But yeah, I think it's just little tidbits of information that make you go, oh, okay. But I'll see. I'll probably watch them later. I also want to give more reason for you guys to watch it off stream, or play the game, which, whether you should or shouldn't, depends on what you feel. You could probably also find it all on YouTube. Yeah. But besides that, what else was there? Yeah, so for the story, it's basic. but it's exactly what you need to get going in these scenarios. Nothing grandiose and whatnot, and you don't need grandiose adventures. Many tales as old as time are simple, right to the point. Hey, there's something evil here. Here's why it's evil. Go get it. Do this, this, and this, and that'll help you banish it. So yeah. What? Am I... My frames just dropped to 0. That's weird. I'm going to be right back then. If you're watching, no, it's back. I'm back. Yeah. That's weird. I don't know what to do now. Anyways, I'll just... what was I talking about? The story, yeah, the story is just what it is. Get you in there, get you invested a bit. Stays true to the characters and what they would do, but isn't overly, like, grandiose that I say, oh yeah, if you don't watch or play the mission mode or play this game, you're gonna miss out on everything. A lot of this is just a testament to how grandiose the Evil Dead franchise is, and so on and so forth. It's a big hodgepodge of different characters from the movies, TV shows, and games. All in all, really good. And the story, like the normal movies and whatnot, is just to get you invested in what's going on. It's not supposed to be grandiose, or I've never found it grandiose. Besides that, you have... Oof. Excuse me. Besides the setting, or the story, the characters. I'm not going to go too much into this. The characters range from all over the Evil Dead franchise. In my first episode of this, you see, I go through all of them, talking about where they're from, the costumes they're from, and whatnot. And yeah, I haven't played all the characters, and been all the characters to really tell, but yeah, it's the characters from the movies, TV show, and not games. Movies and TV show. They're here. They're exactly as you'd think. They all have special powers based mostly off of what they did in the show, movies, and whatnot. Pretty reliable, or pretty good, all things considered. But yeah. Very fun. Besides that, what is there else? Yeah, characters are the characters you know and love. They make jokes. When they do something, they have their own way of saying it. Like turning on a light for Ash will say it one way, and then Pablo will say it another way, being different, but you know, it's turning on a light. There's either a pun there, a joke there, or a statement to be made. Yeah, no, it's just characters, no complaints. And it has all the characters you would really think or want to have, even some that you would go, oh, okay. Not every character that ever appeared in the show, mind you, but they have a great deal of them, and as well as the demons. Really good. Going on to the setting. The setting is where it's both really good and also kind of weak. Because in the settings, there are 3 maps currently, I believe. There's Evil Dead 1 and 2 map, which has the cabin, as well as other random places around it. You have Evil Dead, Ash vs. Evil Dead map, which has some areas that you know and love, but changed. And then you have Castle Kandar, from Army of Darkness. Also what you know and love, though changed a bit. And all in all, for the maps, they're nicely done. Don't mind me. They look somewhat unique and have their own buildings and whatnot going on. The one thing I will say is that they don't, for certain areas you go to, it is clear that they took the name and like some of the aspects of that place, but changed it up significantly for whatever reason, if you even go to that place. Like the cabin looks exactly as you would think the cabin would look, but then I don't know, there's not many other areas. Castle Kandar really looks different than how it was in Army of Darkness, I think, because it was surrounded all over by open plains-ish area. But even the castle itself doesn't exactly look like it did in the movie. I guess they had to make it more whatever, and maybe it's different timelines and whatnot. But it's like, it's always one thing to see like, oh, this is this place, and then actually have it not look anything like that, but have some details. Like the castle. It's a castle, alright, but it doesn't look like Castle Kandar did in the game. So it's more name only than just place. I don't know why they couldn't do the actual thing in there and whatnot. Some areas are better than others, but I think they should have gone more into making the locations, some locations of town, actually look like it was in the show. And like, don't make the whole, like, Ash versus Evil Dead, like, don't make it just the actual town, because there'd be buildings to go through and whatnot, but like, make it a mishmash of things. So at one part you go to, you have the bar and the hardware store. The hardware store you can go into, that Ash owns, and go into the basement and whatnot. The bar is just one little bar thing. Like, give us that thing where we can go, oh yeah, this is the area. Throw in some other random areas that fit with the design and whatnot, but make it, you know, make this more of like a mishmash of a lot of things that happened in the series, but not overdone. Like the asylum. They could have had the asylum and either just had a big building where you go through different floors and whatnot, or just, yeah. The factory was one. In Ash vs. Evil Dead, you go to a militia camp and there's underground tunnels there. I don't know if much is there. It's a lot of names only, which, I don't know. I didn't fully explore. Maybe I'm wrong about stuff, but I've played this quite a lot. And through playing, going through a lot of the areas, I've never gone like, oh yeah, this is this place. Which is also weird for Evil Dead. And one thing I also am sad about with this game is they do an amazing job getting characters from the game, or from the Evil Dead 1981, Evil Dead 2, Army of Darkness, Ash vs. Evil Seasons 1 to 3, and Evil Dead 2013. They even have a effect in the Evil Dead 1 and 2 map, where the cabin map, where it can rain blood, which happens in Evil Dead 2013. But one thing they neglect in all this is that they didn't bring any of the games into it, which is sad. There's a lot of characters there that there's not many characters there that would fit into being a part of it. But like, you could, like, Evil Dead Hail to the King, for example, had areas around it, around the cabin that you explored. There was a church, there's a campground, there's a mine, the hillbilly house, and they could have easily put those buildings or things in the area, and people might not know if they don't play the game, but for me I'd go like, oh yeah, this is the church thing. There's the camp. Here's the picnic area. So it pays tribute to that game without really having anything from that game, anything else from that game. Like, it's just sad they took a lot of the stuff from the games and just tossed it out. Because we could have gotten a Union costume for Ash, referencing Fistful of Dynamite. We could have gotten an enemy, a boss being the Queen Deadite in Fistful of Dynamite, and have her minions be either normal Deadites, the Deadite Warriors, the Deadite Warriors being her main Foot Legion, and then having the other ones be her other ones, the bigger brutes that attack, the elites. But they left it out. Regeneration, they couldn't really put Sam in the game, being half undead and whatnot, but there's still some good locations they could have done with that. It sucks because they just, being an Evil Dead game and just not counting anything else from the Evil Dead games, kind of sad to me. But yeah, I'm going off of the setting, but the settings could have been better. I think they could have taken more either from the games and put them in there, so that at least if we play the game, you'd be able to go like, oh yeah, I see what this is. But it's a lot of just name and nothing else. And again, it's hard. Ash versus Evil Dead had a lot of big stuff. But when you go, that's it. When you go to the Brujo, the witch doctor's house, it's just generic. It's generic. It's not as small. It's small, not as grandiose as the other one, as anything else. And like, they have the rights, I assume. They could have, built up his house a bit. Maybe not be as big as it was. But even then, it wasn't that big. Oh, there's the town. But I'm done. The setting is the one thing. It looks good. It works for the game. I just wish there was a little more representation that was to what the movies, shows actually were. And games. Bring the games into it. Let's see. Settings. Game mechanics. So the game mechanics is pretty much like a lot of other games. Your character has a melee attack, either fat, strong, or short. You get different weapons with different rarities, I guess, to give you more power. You get a handheld weapon, a melee weapon, or you get a ranged weapon. And yeah. As I talked about it, the main point of the game is to go through, get 3 maps, then get the Dagger and Necronomicon, fight the Dark Ones by staying alive, killing other Deadites, and protect the book until the time is up. And in the end, you win or lose. And overall, like I said, it's really fine for what it is. You find stuff, you have Shemp's Soda, or beer, which is from the Ash vs. Evil Dead. You have an amulet, which isn't the amulet that... who is it? Pablo wears or has. Though I feel like it should have been that. It should have looked more like that. But I don't know. Maybe it was a weird thing where they could get characters for the game, but not go full into, like, other things about it, so they had to be creative. Which would be weird, and just... But I don't know. Yeah, and that's kind of how it is. You go around, there are chests, there's pink F to upgrade your character. And if you're the demon, you kind of get infernal energy to power up, level yourself up. Summon when you get enough level, or when you unlock it, you can send out basic or elite or the boss enemy, trying to get leveled up and kill the survivors quicker than the survivors can level up and get everything. So, yeah. It's pretty good. Fine for what it is. And mission mode is more of a, oh, go over here, grab this. Oh, go over here, defeat this. All fine. Like I said, for what it is, there's a dodge mechanic and whatnot. Different weapons, varieties, and whatnot. It is good for what it is. I enjoy it. It is fun. It's going to be a game I put into rotation with my friends that we play every once in a while. And yeah. Like I said, for an Evil Dead multiplayer game, this hits the nail on the head for being really good. And as it goes for Legacy, I kind of talked about it before, but it has characters from the first, at least 3 characters from almost all the movies. 2013 only got 2. Army of Darkness got a few. But yeah. I think every area had at least 3 characters other than Ash. And I go into the one thing and go through all the characters and talk about them. And Like, for character-wise, they really do a good job of getting the big bads of the series as well. The demons, Ball being my favorite, Plague Bear from Army of Darkness, Henrietta from Evil Dead 2, etc., etc. For representation, for characters and whatnot, and all the characters have their own specials and whatnot, so you can play through any of them and find which ones you like the best. It is really put together, really well done, really good representation-wise. The area settings, like I talked about before, is where it kind of slips. They kind of have the name of places, but not the essence of what it actually looked like, which is a bummer. And yeah, but for a game celebrating a franchise that spans so much of media, but again, the only thing they don't do is go into any of the books. You don't get any. I don't think you get any locations referenced. You don't get any characters. You don't get any costumes. Not a Deadite, anything like that. For them to just push away the other games in the series is the only downfall for me. Like I said, there wasn't much difference, but they could have found something. Put areas in the map that represent Hail to the King. Fistful of Dynamite, give us one of the evil bosses there with some Deadites from the game. That help. Hail to the King. Again, you could have a Deadite boss from there. You could have locations and whatnot. If they wanted to do something, they could have. But it's the one thing that makes me sad. While they did a good job getting the movies and TV show in there that were out at the time, they just left the games on the table. But overall, the game is really good for if you want a multiplayer thing with friends, 4 of you versus 1 demon, to pop it on and play it every once in a while. Say, hey, this is pretty good. And then quit for a while and come back to it. It's a good thing to go in between. The mission mode themselves, they're easy enough to do. They don't take that long, even though some of them are stupid. This game is not meant for single player or not being able to upgrade or not having the best weapon when you do some things, which makes it frustrating. But the missions are still fun. They're still connected to the character you are and what they would do. But yeah, all in all, I will say that look into the game, watch my content, watch other people's content to determine whether or not this would be an actual game for you. Because if you're a die-hard Evil Dead fan, this is definitely a game to have. But if you're not, it might be a harder sell. Like I said, as good as it is character-wise, setting-wise, the maps and whatnot, while they're good big maps, they don't fully get the essence of the areas in some places. But you'll be the judge of that. I recommend it if you like the Evil Dead franchise, and if you want a game that you can just pop in, play quickly with some friends, and for an hour or two and have a blast. It's good. But I will leave this here. So, thank you my brothers for watching, and I will see you next anytime. Take care.